70 to finish things off. Dropping down into the mid-40s in the overnight hours. Our Tuesday comes back with sunshine and comfy mid-70s. Mainly dry and warm for the rest of the work week. That's your forecast. From the WSIC Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Johnson's Parts and Supply, your Auto Plus auto parts store for 42 years, carries a full line of Wix filters for cars, trucks, and all types of heavy-duty equipment. Johnson's Auto Parts, your Auto Plus auto parts store, 1112 Shelton Avenue, Statesville.
Looking for the perfect spot for date night or any night? At Palmaduro's, we pair warm, cozy vibes with authentic Italian flavors. Try our signature dishes and toast to the little moments that matter. Visit palmaduros.com to plan your visit.
The following is a paid program and does not necessarily reflect the views of WSIC.
Welcome to Thrive Here Live. This is Commissioner Alisia Bergsman, and this is your inside look at the people, places, and progress that make Huntersville thrive. From local events to business spotlights, we're bringing you the stories that keep our community connected. Today, we're diving into one of the most beloved aspects of our town, Parks and Rec. And who better to guide us through all the exciting updates than our very own Parks and Recreation Director, Michael Jaycocks. Welcome to the show, Michael.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to talk about all things Parks and Rec.
So Parks and Rec play such an important role in the quality of life in Huntersville. Before we get into specific projects, can you give us a broad overview of what the Parks and Rec Department does and how it impacts our community?
Yeah, in a nutshell, we're here to provide and enhance the quality of life for all residents of all abilities, all interests. Our Parks Department is really built on the people. Like, what do the people want? What are the things they enjoy doing? If it's outdoors or indoors, we have facilities for both. We continue to grow and adjust to our community as it has changed over the years. So that's been really cool to see as well. So pretty much just anything that can enhance the quality of life of our community, that's kind of what we're striving to do.
Excellent. And we definitely, with over 60,000 people living in Huntersville now, we've definitely seen some tremendous growth here and across the state. Yeah. So with that population growth, of which we're no exception, I am curious how you balance maintaining our existing parks with planning and building new facilities.
Yeah, so it's very important to plan ahead. So when you're building the park, to understand years down the road, there's going to be investments back into the park. So a lot of times we're trying to find ways to build parks that are sustainable from an environmental standpoint, but also from a maintenance standpoint. So looking at the needs of the community as the community grows, we got to keep up with that growth, which is a challenge for all services the town provides, but also having that CIP for upgrading parks and improving parks. And as well as a lot of times, some of the parks that were built 20, 30 years ago aren't really serving the needs of the community now. That has changed. So also looking at how those parks can evolve over time to serve the new residents that are moving in as well.
Yeah. How many employees do we have in Parks?
So we have 29 full-time, and our department is a little unique from a standpoint. We've got more part-timers than we do full-timers. Pretty much 7-day operation year-round, open from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m., 11 p.m. So obviously you're trying to cover a large range of services over a long period of time, 7 days a week. So we rely heavily on part-timers. So we have probably 40 to 50 part-timers depending on the time of the year. So it's a big operation, 7 days a week for 14, 15 hours a day.
Oh, wow, I bet. I mean, that's a lot. And with all of our soccer fields and baseball fields, do we also do mostly in-house of the maintenance and landscaping?
Yeah, the only thing we do contract out the mowing because we have so much to mow, but a lot of like the fertilize and irrigation, aeration, the weed control and all that stuff we do in-house with our staff.
Okay, well, we have excellent staff and they are always working hard. I know that.
Yes.
So, I wanted to talk a bit about some of the projects that are either new in our town or coming up. And one of those that we recently had a public input session on was Rama Church Road Park. Can you tell us a bit about the vision for this park, where it's located and what it's going to look like?
The one thing I'm scared to say the name because that's a big controversy right now. It's Rama or Rama, so I'm going to say both. Hopefully when it's really named, hopefully maybe that won't be in the name so people won't have to say it the wrong way. So it was kind of, the community is kind of split on the Rama and Rama. So
It is. And actually, so I'd love to hear some feedback. If anyone's listening and would like to comment on how you pronounce it, Rama or Rama, because I've heard it both ways as well from folks who have lived here their entire lives.
Yeah.
So
that was one of the things during the public engagement, just as a fun way to get people involved. We actually, on one of the boards during the public engagement, you could put a sticker, Rama or Rama, and it was almost 50-50. So some people say it depends on how long you lived here or if you grew up here, but we even see and it's split between those as well. So Rama Church or Rama Church is 25 acres. So originally the town bought this property over a year ago, and the intent is to provide a fire station. So fire station number 5 will be on the property. It needs about 5 acres. And the remaining 20 acres will actually be part of the park. So a good 5 years ago or more, a police chief was telling me they're looking for land in a certain part of town. And I said, well, actually, we need land for future parks to serve those neighborhoods as well. So it happened, they found a land a lot bigger than they needed. So to have a fire station and a park on the same property is going to be wonderful. So Rama Church Park, as you go up Rama Church going towards Highway 73, it's directly behind the North Stone neighborhood, and across the street, if you know, a Ramsey Glen neighborhood on the right of Rama Church if you're going out to the east. So it's right across the street from there. So really it's very close to a lot of development that's going on. So that's another reason why it's important to have parks in this area. So it's going to be a passive park, meaning passive, it won't have baseball fields, soccer fields, tennis courts, stuff like that. And one of the reasons we've heard a lot from our park master plan that people want more that passive use. We have a lot of athletic facilities. So this park is pretty much halfway in between Bradford Park, which is heavily athletic, and North Meck Park, which is heavily athletic as well. And plus we have neighborhoods close by, so we don't want to build athletic fields so close to houses. So passive amenities, amenities that usually aren't reserved by people, it's just come out and use the park. So if it's natural play areas, trails, dog parks, shelters, some of the shelters you'll be able to reserve. There's natural play areas, kind of like at Rosedale. It's a good example. This, to me, I call it a Rosedale Nature Park on steroids because it's much bigger, more trails, more space. Anybody that's been at Rosedale, it's packed in there, and there's so many people, and that has been a big hit. So we feel like this would be our east side Rosedale Nature Park, similar to that.
Oh, nice. Yeah, one of my favorite things at Rosedale is the slide, which is kind of built into the landscaping. Yeah. Is anything like that part of the plans?
Yeah, so depending on the topo, we're going to try to find an area like that that's close to the main playground structure. Then I call it kind of like bleeds into the woods. I'm not sure if we have the slope as much in this area as we do at Rosedale, but we'll try to find those different types of cool natural spaces. And Rosedale also, I think, is really cool. If you've been back there in the woods, people are building teepees with their own sticks. So to me, it allows people to be creative. So you have that general playground structure that could be fun, but also getting kids into the woods and being, using their imagination and building things is what's been really cool.
That is. And you just made me think of, I remember at Latta, I don't think they do it anymore, but at least they used to have the Fairy Festival. Yeah. Do they still do that?
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay. I was like, I feel like we should do that too.
Yeah. That's a huge hit too.
Yeah, I love, my daughter always loves going, when she was younger, to go into the parks and just build random things with the pine cones and sticks and all of that. So we got a lot of progress happening in our parks, and we're definitely just getting started. So when we come back from this break, I do want to talk about some of the refreshes on other parks like North Meck Park and Abernathy Park, as well as we've got another fire station and park also going through and had a recent master plan design approved. So with that, I know we will be talking about splash pads.
Yes,
which is a very popular amenity that we continue to add to our town. So do you want to give a little tidbit before we go to break?
Yeah, so most people probably know about North Meck Park Splash Pad that opened up recently, so that's not our first and last. That's our first, but not the last. So, or I guess after the break.
So stay with us. This is Thrive Here Live.
Sit tight. We'll be back with more after this on WSIC 105.9, 100.7, 1400 AM. Local starts here.
Well, kicking off a new work week with the rain gear in hand. You won't need it all day, but a chance for scattered showers morning to midday. Then it should move out as we go into the afternoon. Some sunshine returns. We're up to 70 to finish things off. Dropping down into the mid-40s in the overnight hours. Our Tuesday comes back with sunshine and comfy mid-70s. Mainly dry and warm for the rest of the work week. That's your forecast. From the WSIC Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
The WSIC app is available now wherever you get your apps, featuring local deals from great local businesses like Greystone Lodge in Boone.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. Your live music performance weekend kicks off Thursday, March 27th at Bin 110 in Cornelius. Pluto for Planet headlines the Thursday night show, while Push takes the stage on Friday, and Little Johnny Trailer Trash is your Saturday artist. Join Lake Norman's finest local bands at Bin 110 in Cornelius Thursday through Saturday. On Friday night, the Wine Maestro in Statesville presents a performance by musician William Neesmith. The set list will include your favorite classics as well as hits from today. Enjoy live music at the Wine Maestro in Statesville at 7 p.m. Friday night. Come on out and meet the WSIC team on Saturday at Snooze Mattress on West Catawba Avenue in Cornelius. We will be doing a Merlefest ticket giveaway, so stop by and sign up. I am looking forward to meeting you on Saturday at Snooze Mattress in Cornelius from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Saturday night, the 500 Club in Statesville presents live music with Tanya Wood and Fortune 5. Combining music and energy, Fortune 5 plays beloved classics and contemporary hits, creating an unforgettable experience. Enjoy live music at 6 p.m. Saturday at the 500 Club with a performance by Fortune 5. The Auto Fair, presented by Camping World, is back at Charlotte Motor Speedway Thursday, April 3rd through Saturday, April 5th. The show brings together the car community in a celebration of their shared passion for all things automotive. Don't miss the Heritage Invitational, where iconic cars from all eras are gathered for up-close viewing. Visit charlottemotorspeedway.com for Auto Fair tickets and more information. To keep up with all the events happening around the community and much more, including amazing local deals, download the WSIC News app today.
Merlefest 2025, presented by Window World, returns April 24th through the 27th in Wilkesboro, North Carolina. Hear the Avett Brothers, Bonnie Raitt, The Dead South, Watch House, Wyatt Ford, I'm With Her, Leftover Salmon, The Warren Treaty, The Steel Drivers, and many more. For tickets, visit merlefest.org.
Don't just love the lake, live it. Shop LKN Local, where you'll find unique apparel, home decor, and gifts with a lake vibe you'll just adore. Made by locals for locals, they'll even hand deliver to select zip codes. Shop LKN-local.com today.
Got a Toyota? Get it serviced at Quality Car Care of Statesville. Looking for a great pre-owned vehicle? Quality Car Care has you covered at 2040 Old Mountain Road. Visit QualityCarCareStatesville.com.
All right, we're back with more from the Town of Huntersville on WSIC 105.9, 100.7, 1400 AM. Local starts here.
You're live. I'm here with Michael Jaycocks, our Parks and Rec Director, learning about all the exciting things happening in our parks. A major win for our community was the transformation of Abernathy Park. The new playground isn't just a refresh, it's a beautifully designed, fully accessible, and inclusive space for kids and adults of all abilities. Can you share more about how this was funded, what makes the park special, and how it's been received by the community?
Yeah, so people who don't know, Abernathy Park is the town's oldest park. The land was donated in 1959 from the owner of the mill back in the 50s. So this project was really exciting for me. It's a real true neighborhood park. And from the amenities, obviously the amenities were very old. They weren't really located in the right places from a safety standpoint. So we went out to the community, got engagement from the community to really get feedback from them, what they'd like to see or what they'd like to see change in a neighborhood park. One of those things was obviously a new playground, but also a new basketball court. Both of the playground and basketball court were so close to the street, which that street does have a lot of traffic. So the residents were very clear that if possible, try to move those amenities away from the street. The challenge with that is with the baseball field we had. So we actually worked with the local youth groups to move the fence in for the baseball field since it was more the younger T-ball kids. The fence didn't be that far. So we're able to move the basketball court as well as the playground away from the road, but also upgrading those amenities. Like you mentioned, it's an accessible playground. It has a merry-go-round that a wheelchair can access. The playground can be accessed by a wheelchair. We also had 6 outdoor fitness stations put into the park along a brand new trail. Originally, nothing in that park was accessible except for the restroom building. Now everything is. We have a new shelter with accessible picnic tables. So that park has really been transformed, and it always feels good when you go back out to the park and you hear from the residents how it's really changed, how they feel about their park. And they're so proud of their neighborhood park. So that was definitely a rewarding project. That was 50% of it was funded by a new state grant, Accessibility for Parks, and we were able to get one of those. So that was a very exciting project, and it's good to go back to see how it's being used so much by the neighbors.
Yeah, I mean, I will say during my times on the Parks and Rec Committee prior to becoming commissioner, that was probably one of the projects I'm most proud of being a part of. And maybe just for the audience, because I know there's some differences between just being ADA accessible, but then also being inclusive. And this, I believe, has playground equipment where folks who are either in a wheelchair or other mobility device can play alongside children that are not. And can you explain kind of how that, what that looks like?
Yeah, so if you look at the old playground, people would say legally it's accessible, but it had mulch. So truly, we would disagree with that. So we're trying to go to the next level, but also from a standpoint, including those with other users. So you're not separating those who maybe can't get on a certain structure for those who can. So now that if you're going to get on the merry-go-round, you're on one merry-go-round with everybody. And so that's one of the benefits of that park is that it's including people, not secluding people. Because you can provide something for somebody that's in a wheelchair, but you're separating them from everybody else, and we don't want to do that. So we feel this playground definitely did that and worked where it brought the kids together to play on the same structure.
Yeah, and it's I definitely see a lot of kids there these days. Can you tell us a bit too? Because there's also a new fitness path around the park with some equipment. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, so we used to always see there was a couple of older folks living in the neighborhood, and I would see them walking in the grass early in the morning. Of course, it's dewy and wet and so forth, and this is where we didn't have a path. They were just walking around the field in the grass. And so, and from the public engagement, we heard that it'd be nice, even though it's a small walking trail, it's a walking trail that goes around the perimeter. And so now we have a lot of the seniors that use that. We also see a lot of little kids just learn how to ride a bike. It's easier to learn how to ride a bike on a sidewalk than it is in the grass. So multi-use, it's used for all ages. So that was a big addition to the park that they didn't have before because they don't really have sidewalks in their neighborhood. So this really helped them to actually go to a place where they can walk and exercise, and kids learn how to ride a bike when there's nowhere else because they don't have space in their yard. So I think it hit on a lot of benefits for the community.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know one other thing that a lot of families are probably excited to see coming in the near future is a second splash pad at Waymer Park. Our first one opened last year, right?
Yep.
At North Mac Park, and we'll talk about North Mac Park in a little bit. But for right now, if I'm not wrong, construction is set to start on a splash pad this spring.
It's going to be late spring, probably early June. We're trying to avoid the big spring festival that happens the first week of June. So we're trying to tee that up to start the week after. So that will start probably the second week of June. Yeah.
And so this splash pad, will it be the same as the one at North Mac, or how will this one be different?
Yeah. So one of the goals for both splash pads is where every year you can kind of change out the elements. So pretty much there's certain types of animals that are part of the splash pad at North Mac. The ones at Waymer will be different, but every other summer you can swap them out. So they're all kind of animal themed for the most part. Now North Mac's more of a lily pad, but there's frogs and stuff like that. That could be changed out with like foxes and other things that will be at Waymer. The one thing we heard about from the community at Waymer, once again, we want to make sure we're building what the community wants, and really didn't think about it. There was like the one priority is if you can shade the whole splash pad. So originally we had these kind of fancy shade structures that weren't providing as much shade. So what we've done is redesign that where we'll have a shade canopy that will cover the whole splash pad. So to me, I think that's something unique in our area. There's not many splash pads that are completely shaded. So we're excited about that. Once again, the type of animals in the splash pad came from the community. We had them vote on that to tell us. But the one thing we heard loud and clear is provide as much shade as possible. If you could, just cover the whole thing. So that's part of the bid project is having that shade canopy as part of that. And Splash pads have been one of our number one or number two requested amenities behind greenways for years. And like you mentioned, we opened last summer at North Mech Park. And the amount of use last summer was, I mean, we knew it was needed, but it was over the top. You couldn't go out there for a 10-hour period and not seeing kids out there. So that's always good to see. We're doing things that the community want us to do.
That's fantastic. I'm a little jealous. My child is now 17, so not really a child anymore. So unfortunately, our splash pad days are over. But
I'm with you. I'm the same way.
we got there eventually, and I'm glad for everybody's. There's so many young families in our community now, and more moving to the area that we can provide these amenities for our families. And then that's not the only change at North Mech Park that's occurred recently. I believe the playground has also received some refreshing and updating.
Yep.
So what's gone on with that?
Yep. So if people are familiar with North Mech Park, we have the playground up front near the splash pad, which is more for the younger kids. It has the ramps. It's nothing that's really challenging for the older kids. And so when it was time to replace the playground by the soccer field, which that playground is about 16 years old, so it was time to replace it. It had mulch. It wasn't very accessible. And once again, we want to hear back from the community. So we heard loud and clear from the community that it would be nice for something that's a little more challenging than the other playground. Everything else is geared toward the younger kids at North Mech. So if you have a younger kid, the playground at the front is perfect. But if you have a 7, 8, 9, 10-year-old, this new playground we built to the back is more challenging, like has a high structure, has ropes that you can climb. So it's more challenging. It's accessible as well. We have synthetic turf, so it's similar to the poured-in rubber. Synthetic turf does not get quite as hot as the poured-in rubber, but both of them are accessible the same. So we've heard a lot of good feedback. We also have music instruments. So once again, anybody can access it. Yeah, so I always wonder, well, people are going to really use the music stuff. Well, I went out there a couple of weeks ago, and I got in my car, and I could hear music playing, and there's like two kids and their mom and dad, and they're all playing instruments. I'm like, okay, people will use it. So just different types of amenities and uses that, okay, well, someone might enjoy playing an instrument while they're at the playground with their sibling or their parents. So once again, that playground came out of the input we received from the community. It wasn't that I thought it'd be cool to do this. It was more, okay, the community is telling me this is what we like to see at this park. We use the park a lot, but our kids are getting older. They're getting bored. Is there something different? So we've got a lot of great feedback from those that gave us feedback originally who are now out there using it with their kids. So we think we provided, once again, what the people were requesting.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I think, Huntersville does really well, and especially with the Parks Department, is every step of the process, there's community involvement. So whenever we have a new project come along, it really is about what the community wants to see. And I think that's reflected in how popular the amenities and, some of our programming is. I wanted to shift a little bit to a different sport and away from some of the playground discussions to disc golf.
Okay.
And it might be a surprise to some folks that disc golf is kind of growing in popularity and is something that's needed in our community. And Richard Berry Park is going to be having a brand new course soon. So tell us a bit about what, in regards to sports tourism with disc golf, what that looks like for Huntersville. And we'll probably have to pick this up after the break. But.
So if people who don't know, we have an 18-hole disc golf course at Bradford Park, and it's one of the most popular in the area, if not the country. It's the 58th most used disc golf course in the country out of almost 10,000 courses. It's the third most used course in North Carolina out of almost 500 courses. So the Charlotte region is pretty much the capital of disc golf really in the world. So it's really cool to see that we have hosted the World Disc Golf Championships a few times. People who've used the disc golf course last year, they walked 29,000 miles. There were 44 people from 44 states played at it last year, and then 6 different countries. So that just tells you that they're coming from everywhere. They're not just local. But once again, I think COVID also played a role in disc golf really exploding. It's always been popular prior to that, but I think the growth went through the roof since.
Wow. Well, we will talk more about that after the break.
Sit tight. We'll be back with more after this on WSIC 105.9, 100.7, 1400 AM. Local starts here.
Well, kicking off a new work week with the rain gear in hand. You won't need it all day, but a chance for scattered showers morning to midday. Then it should move out as we go into the afternoon. Some sunshine returns. We're up to 70 to finish things off. Dropping down into the mid-40s in the overnight hours. Our Tuesday comes back with sunshine and comfy mid-70s. Mainly dry and warm for the rest of the work week. That's your forecast. From the WSIC Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
'Tis the season. Bloom large at Drum Landscape Supply, your one-stop shop for everything you need this spring. Don't waste time running from store to store. Flowers, trees, mulch, and more. They've got you covered. Plus, they deliver. Visit drumlandscapesupply.com today.
Johnson's Parts and Supply, your Auto Plus auto parts store for 42 years, carries a full line of Wix filters for cars, trucks, and all types of heavy-duty equipment. Johnson's Auto Parts, your Auto Plus auto parts store, 1112 Shelton Avenue, Statesville.
Prioritizing your health is one of the best ways to take care of yourself. From routine visits to the joys of pregnancy to the illnesses that stop you in your tracks, Iredell Health System will be by your side. Learn more at iredellhealth.org.
Hi, this is Bob McIntosh with the McIntosh Law Firm in Davidson. Since 1997, we have been committed to providing our clients with competent, caring, and experienced legal services. Learn more at McIntoshLawFirm.com.
Need a ride? iCats has you covered. Tuesdays to the VA in Salisbury, Thursday to Winston-Salem, and Fridays to Hickory. Plus, run errands every day around Iredell County for just $1. Visit rideicats.com.
Yeehaw for rodeo season at Harrison's, the home of work, western, and wow. Whether you compete or cheer from the stands, Harrison has the looks to help you wow the crowd. Get western classics and the latest styles from Harriet, Cinch, Rock and Roll Denim, and Wrangler. Find us in Mooresville.
The number one station for people who say we're their favorite station.
WSIC.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. 23andMe says it will keep operating now that it's filed for Chapter 11 protection. In recent days, the DNA testing company had warned of possible liquidation if it can't find a buyer. Lenders are giving it until May 7th to find one. The filing also resolves 23andMe's legal troubles after a data breach that compromised information on millions of people and gave a hacker direct access to 14,000 accounts. Coffee prices are percolating again, once again topping $4 a pound before retail. As fresh reporting from Arabica coffee growing regions in Brazil say output both this year and next could be impacted by unusually hot and dry weather over the past several weeks. That plus unfavorable weather in Vietnam, the world's top producer of cheaper Robusta coffee, a renewing market worry over the global supply crunch. On Wall Street, indexes up 1% to 2% as the White House confirms it may narrow the scope of threatened tariffs. Dow rising more than 1%, S&P up 1.5%, NASDAQ gaining 2%. Andrew O'Day, Bloomberg Radio.
Who is this? This is 105.9 100.7.
WSIC. Local starts here.
All right, we're back with more from the Town of Huntersville on WSIC 105.9 100.7 1400 AM. Local starts here.
Oh, welcome back to Thrive Here Live. I'm Commissioner Alisia Bergsman, and we are here today with Michael Jaycocks from our Parks and Rec Department. And before the break, we were talking about disc golf, and most specifically, the new course that is coming to Berry Park. So do you want to talk about the design of that one?
Yes, we're very fortunate that we have one of our athletic staff members is heavily involved with designing disc golf courses everywhere. And, I mean, he's involved with disc golf for a long time. It's highly respected. So we're fortunate to have somebody in-house that's able to design a disc golf course. Don't have to go hire somebody. So Pat Bowles is designing that disc golf course at Richard Berry Park, which is on the west side of town. Previously, I was talking about Bradford Park, which is on the east side of town. So we've heard a lot about having more stuff on the west side of 77. When we did our comprehensive park master plan, that's the one thing people said on the west side of town, that they're underserved when it comes to park amenities. So there's a big group that will actually use that course who now don't have to drive to Bradford if they want a different type of course as well. Bradford Park is probably more of a challenging course. Berry's going to be more of a beginner's course, somewhat. It will only be 9 holes because of we only have so much room at the back of Richard Berry Park. So if you come to Richard Berry Park and back behind the soccer fields, there's a large wooded area behind the open area. So it'll be all in the woods back in that area. So probably get 9 holes. There's some creative things that Pat will work on, try to maybe make one hole feel like 2 different holes. Maybe there's 2 tee boxes. So it makes next time you come around, you're throwing from a different location, but it's still the same basket. So he's going to work on some creative things. So hoping to start that in the next couple of weeks, and hopefully should be done by the end of the year, if not sooner. I don't want to put no pressure on nobody, but I know a lot of people are asking, when's it going to be done? When's it going to be open? Because there's a lot of interest. So people are definitely interested in that. And what I mentioned before at Bradford, it's such a heavily used disc golf course that population of people want to play disc golf has really grown dramatically in our area.
Yeah, and this one will be a more beginner course. So if I would try, I mean, I played ultimate frisbee in college. My few attempts at disc golf have spent more time running through the woods finding the disc than actually making it into the net. Is it called a net?
Disc basket.
Into the basket, into the place where it is supposed to go.
I'll call it disc basket. I could be. Pat will let me know when I get back to office if I said it wrong, but I'll call it disc basket.
So I guess I'm a little happy. So for a beginner, this might be one that I'll try out because Bradford definitely is a hard one.
I got a funny joke because Pat Bowles knows a lot about disc golf. So I played with him one time, one of the first times I played. Well, there's different types of disc for driving, putting, all that. We got to like the 16th hole, and he said, "Michael, what are you doing?" Because we're putting. I said, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Why are you using a driver to putt?" I was like, "Well, no one told me." I said, "Should have told me a hole number 1, not hole 16." So that was like, okay, I don't want to play with Pat no more.
Yeah, he was just waiting for
That's
the right
right.
time,
Yeah,
right?
The right time to tell me.
At the end of the game.
Yeah.
So I want to shift gears for just a second and talk a little bit more about something that could surprise some folks is the sports tourism and how much that impacts both our community and the economic input that comes with sports tourism. So our parks host a variety of tournaments, and that brings in visitors. What role, from your perspective, does that play?
To me, I always think it's benefiting. This is one of the good things. It's benefiting the actual people coming in and bringing tourism to our hotels and to our restaurants, but also it allows us to provide and build top-notch facilities. It's kind of a win-win because we're bringing tourism. There's tourism dollars you can use to upgrade your facilities. So a lot of our facilities, you see synthetic turf, soccer fields, synthetic turf infields, good lighting. A lot of that is coming from the tourism. So from that, it's benefiting everybody. It's benefiting those coming from out of town to use facilities. They're like, oh, they got quality facilities. We want to come back again. But also it's benefiting our residents who now also get to play on high-level, high-quality facilities. So we host events from, I mentioned the World Disc Golf Championship. We host state games, which is the largest amateur sporting event in North Carolina. It's been in our parks many years, but it uses a lot of parks, not just Huntersville, but all over the Charlotte region. USTA, Lake North Tennis Association, state championships. They probably hosted that in some of our parks for a dozen years. That brings a lot of people. Having a synthetic turf has really opened up doors. A lot of times, football groups want to do a football event, or a lacrosse group want to do a lacrosse event in December, January. Not too good for Bermuda grass, which is dormant. It gets tore up. It's wet. It's raining. Now we had those synthetic turf fields at Berry and Bradford. So we're hosting a lot more of those events in December and January that we wouldn't even consider. So that's one of the things. We work closely with Visit Lake Norman as well. Like when they're going to bid on events, also they're trying to see if there's enough fields in the area, what type of fields, are they available? So working closely with Visit Lake Norman has always been a great partnership. And I think it was 2006 or 2007 at the town board retreat, they wanted the town to be an amateur sports destination. So a few years after that, we built Richard Berry Park, we built Bradford Park. So a lot of the things that, now first the reason we're building those parks is we had a local need. It just another benefit was the tourism aspect. So instead of adding a bunch of fields all over town, one field here, one field there, let's put 6 or 7 in one location. It serves for a tourism standpoint, but also serves the local leagues, and it's easier to manage when you have more in one location. So to me, I think the sports tourism, we've done a good job with it, but it's also benefiting the local residents as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And, earlier we were talking about new parks, and I want to circle back to that because I realized I left one out.
Okay.
And that is Fire Station number 4. And I know for those who follow our Parks and Rec Department social media pages, you might be aware that there's currently a contest to name this park. So this is another one like the Rama or Rama Church Park that has recently been having the master design worked on. And tell us a bit about this one, which is located towards the other side of Huntersville from the Rhema Church Park.
Yep, so it's on McElwain Road. So anybody knows Fire Station number 4, it's an existing fire station. It opened up about 5 or 6 years ago. When they had more land than they needed once again, but they originally had a plan that they would have a training facility on the remaining land. Well, Central Piedmont Community College now is going to do that on their property next to Huntsville Athletic Park and Aquatic Center. So that opened the door. We did not have any parks in this area. We're trying to serve the Hunter Green community as well as Cedar Field. So those are within less than a half a mile to this location. So it's a little over 7 acres. Actually, the Parks and Rec Commission approved the plan. You guys approved it about a month ago. We're in the process of naming the park. So typically what we do is we get the plan approved so people know what's in the park before they start, having an idea what they want to name it. So right now we've received a lot of feedback on the name. The survey closes on March 31st. Parks and Rec Commission will look at everything that was submitted and probably will discuss it in April, but probably wouldn't have a decision or recommendation probably till May. We are going to be applying for a Parks and Rec Trust Fund grant as part of this park. So this park has walking trails, has a nature trail, 4 pickleball courts, another playground, and another splash pad. Once again, this is on the west side of 77. We don't have any splash pads on the west side of 77. And also, it's close to neighbors. We're hoping people can walk there. And that's one of our goals is that we're putting parks where people can walk to. So long term, everybody should have a place where they can walk or bike to a park safely. So there's some things we have to do outside of the park to make that happen. So that park is like around 7 acres. As part of this park, Lakeland Charter Elementary School is building an elementary school right next door. We already have another agreement for one of their gyms, which will be our 4th joint use gym with Lakeland Charter School. And we're also looking at tennis courts. They do have room to put 6 tennis courts on their school site. So we're looking maybe to come back to the board, adding that to our joint use agreement. Once again, we're adding pickleball, but we also know that tennis is still growing. So we are looking for ways to partner with schools who usually build tennis courts as well to try to do that. And so the cool thing about this project, these 2 parcels will feel like one parcel, meaning our driveways and parking lots are kind of shared with each other. And so this project is set up really good where it's actually very connected. So really the next step is naming it, applying for the Parks and Rec Trust Fund grants, and the hope would be to maybe start construction by the end of the year.
Oh, that is exciting. Yeah. And you mentioned currently the survey is open till the 31st. So if someone wants to submit a name into the survey, how can they find that link?
Yeah. So it's on our website. So our project page, if you go to Fire Station Number 4 project, there's a link there. It's also still on our Facebook page. And probably what we'll do is go ahead and remind people that it's about a week left. So that this week we'll send a reminder, hey, you got 1 week to submit your name. So you just submit the name of the park. We've received a lot of different feedback. So once again, it's not very hard to get our community engaged. I mean, they're very quickly to engage. And we always look, we want to hear the good, but we also want to hear the bad, because how can we improve what we're doing when we're not listening to the maybe things that we aren't doing good? So once again, we always encourage everybody to give your feedback, pros or cons.
Absolutely. And I know Parks also has some fun events coming up. Do you want to talk about those for a few minutes?
Yep. So we have one of these events, let me make sure I get it right. I'll say the names wrong sometimes. It's
I know.
Donuts with the Duck and Bunny. So this actually, once again, we coming out of COVID, instead of doing big Easter egg hunts, and a lot of people are doing that, our staff came up with this Donuts with the Duck and Bunny. So it's a veterans park. There's 1 hour time slots, and there you got to pre-register, so they're filling up pretty quick. So pretty much you're coming, having breakfast with donuts, and you also with the Duck and Bunny take pictures. You do crafts and stuff like that, related to kind of like an Easter event, but it's on a smaller scale, pre-registered. So that's something that kind of came out of COVID. It's so popular, and it fills up every year. We decided to go ahead and do it again. We also have our Jazz Appreciation coming on Saturday, April 26th from 6 to 9 p.m. Great jazz music, food trucks, alcohol if you want to drink in that, non-alcoholic drinks, we have that as well. So that's always a great time. The weather's usually pretty good that time of year. Once again, both of these events take place at Veterans Park downtown at Ice House Stage, so it's a great location. Middle of town, come down and visit the local stores while you're down there.
Sounds great. And we have one final segment coming up after this short break.
We'll be back with more after this on WSIC 105.9, 100.7, 1400 AM. Local starts here.
Well, kicking off a new work week with the rain gear in hand. You won't need it all day, but a chance for scattered showers, morning to midday. Then it should move out as we go into the afternoon. Some sunshine returns. We're up to 70 to finish things off. Dropping down into the mid-40s in the overnight hours. Our Tuesday comes back with sunshine and comfy mid-70s. Mainly dry and warm for the rest of the work week. That's your forecast. From the WSIC Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. Your live music performance weekend kicks off Thursday, March 27th at Bin 110 in Cornelius. Pluto for Planet headlines the Thursday night show, while Push takes the stage on Friday, and Little Johnny Trailer Trash is your Saturday artist. Join Lake Norman's finest local bands at Bin 110 in Cornelius Thursday through Saturday. On Friday night, the Wine Maestro in Statesville presents a performance by musician William Neesmith. The set list will include your favorite classics as well as hits from today. Enjoy live music at the Wine Maestro in Statesville at 7 p.m. Friday night. Come on out and meet the WSIC team on Saturday at Snooze Mattress on West Catawba Avenue in Cornelius. We will be doing a Merlefest ticket giveaway, so stop by and sign up. I am looking forward to meeting you on Saturday at Snooze Mattress in Cornelius from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Saturday night, the 500 Club in Statesville presents live music with Tanya Wood and Fortune 5. Combining music and energy, Fortune 5 plays beloved classics and contemporary hits, creating an unforgettable experience. Enjoy live music at 6 p.m. Saturday at the 500 Club with a performance by Fortune 5. The Auto Fair, presented by Camping World, is back at Charlotte Motor Speedway Thursday, April 3rd through Saturday, April 5th. The show brings together the car community in a celebration of their shared passion for all things automotive. Don't miss the Heritage Invitational, where iconic cars from all eras are gathered for up-close viewing. Visit charlottemotorspeedway.com for Auto Fair tickets and more information. To keep up with all the events happening around the community and much more, including amazing local deals, download the WSIC News app today.
Merlefest 2025, presented by Window World, returns April 24th through the 27th in Wilkesboro, North Carolina. Hear the Avett Brothers, Bonnie Raitt, the Dead South, Watch House, Wyatt Ford, I'm With Her, Leftover Salmon, The Warren Treaty, The Steel Drivers, and many more. For tickets, visit merlefest.org.
All right, we're back with more from the Town of Huntersville on WSIC 105.9, 100.7, 1400 AM. Local starts here.
Back to the final stretch of Thrive Here Live. So we've already explored some amazing park projects and events, but we've still got more to dive into. We left off with talking about jazz appreciation and Donuts with Duck and a Bunny.
Yeah.
And we also have the Hello Huntersville Festival coming up soon.
Yeah, that's one of our bigger events. That's one we call them the Big Four. So it's one of the big four events we have. And actually, it will be on, let me get this right, May 4th. From 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. It's Hello Huntersville Art and Music Festival. So also we'll have vendors selling different art items that they have, and it's a good time before Mother's Day to get your Mother's Day gift. We always like to throw that out there. But also I'll have interactive art activities for the kids and adults as well. Great music, local bands, food, once again, alcoholic, non-alcoholic drinks, different characters roaming around that are art related. So it's really become our big signature spring event. We get a lot of good feedback and a lot of good attendance at this event. Once again, it's at Veterans Park on May 4th, 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Once again, it's a great event. Hopefully everybody comes out. Typically during this event, I haven't confirmed it, but I'll say it anyway, they usually do. OHHS usually opens up the old jail for tours, so that really gives a lot of exposure to the old jail that people don't know about. It's right across the street from the railroad tracks from Veterans Park. So they usually open up for our bigger events, too, for people to tour.
Yeah, it's definitely Hello Huntersville and then the fall festival, which I'm drawing a blank on.
Halloween in Huntersville.
Halloween in Huntersville. Those are probably one of my two favorites that we have. And just to remind folks that are listening, is Hello Huntersville rain or shine event?
Yes. We've had rain before. I mean, it really depends on how hard it's raining.
It's hard that time of year.
Yeah, so that time of year, one year it actually rained the last 10 minutes, which was good. It came to the end of the event. So typically we say rain or shine, but I mean, if it's a complete monsoon, we're not going to have vendors out there and it's going to be hard to play music. So it's one of those things that just depends how hard it's raining. But
And then what is the best way, because I do get this question a lot, when Parks puts on events and that are outdoors, What is the best way for people to find out whether something is going to be rescheduled or not due to inclement weather?
Typically, because it's so easy and quick to put stuff out on social media, typically that's the way. But we also have that news section of the website, like a ticker that tells you if something's going on. So usually we'll try to get that put up on the town's main page, not just the Parks and Rec page, but the main page as well. So across it would say, okay, if a big event's been canceled, we'll put it on there. So it's, the website as well as social media.
Perfect. And I know we're just tiptoeing into spring right now, but it's already time to think about summer camps. Time flies, right?
Yeah.
So, and I know our summer camps, huge hit in our community. They fill up very quickly most times. Can we talk a little bit about kind of what's on the lineup this year? If there's anything different, any expansions, what we're doing for our camps?
Yeah. One thing I have to do a shout out for our summer camp staff and all the staff that's involved. So we've done something Michael Jordan's never done. We've done a 4-peat. He did 2 3-peats, but we've done a 4-peat, which is we have received 4 straight Normie awards, which it's not an award that we submit for and someone picks. It's something that the actual community nominates and votes on. So those kind of awards are really telling the tale of how great the program is. So once again, I gotta make sure our staff does a wonderful job at those camps. And like you said, there's always a waiting list. So how do we try to take more people? So we have camps pretty much for all ages. So we got a preschool camp, and we also have a mini athletes, which is a little bit different. It's almost like a summer sports camp, but for the younger kids. We also have the regular preschool camp that's a half day as well. Then we have our traditional camps for the elementary ages that are elementary age. It's more of like an 8 to 5, 9 to 5 type of camp. Then we also have that's the junior venture. So the venture camp are for the older kids. That's more in the middle school range, which is very unique. Not a lot of camps are provided for that age group, but it's a camp that fills up. But they do some cool things. They go learn how to surf. They go in the mountains, whitewater rafting. They actually camped in a cave one time. So it's one of those things that these are memories that a lot of these kids wouldn't do potentially without being into a camp. So to me, it's a very unique camp. They travel a lot, and it's not just sitting at one location. We take even the elementary age camps, they go on trips as well. It's just not overnight like the teen camps. We also have summer sports camps. Some of those are, soccer, volleyball. We also, and I can't confirm this, but we also had a partnership last year where they did like a music camp where they learned how to create music and so forth. So I think that's something we're offering again this year. And once again, a lot of times the ideas come from the community. So years ago, we did a soapbox derby camp because we were a host site for the soapbox derby championship. So sometimes it's where there's an opportunity for a partnership. We're willing to look at adding different activity in different camps. Once again, it's about the community, what they're telling us. Is that something we can provide, and do we have the resources to provide it? But like you said, our camps fill up very quick. We have to do a lottery. It used to stress people out to try to get online or wait in line to get into the camp. We took as much stress out as possible. So now you have this period of time you can register, then just relax, and then we put your name in the lottery ball and take the lottery tickets out and then decide if you get in or not. So we try to make it as less stressful as possible, because the worst thing for me was after summer camp every year, there's a mom coming into the office talking to me that's in tears because they didn't get in. So that's always hard to swallow that. So once again, we're looking for ways to expand those camps. We are taking more kids this year. We're just, it's a fine balance of how many kids you should take and still keep things safe for everybody.
Yeah. And I like the switch to the lottery. I mean, that's still a little bit stressful for parents, but not nearly as much. I don't have fond memories of having to sit in front of a computer, especially during the elementary school years, waiting for that clock to change over to be able to log in and try and get a spot in a camp. And, it's especially difficult for families where, you have 2 working parents and, you don't have that time to always be in front of a computer at the exact moment application's open. Yeah. So I think that's definitely a more equitable way to offer our programs. I'm curious, from your perspective, what could the town be doing to help, or what are things that we could do to help increase our capacity for summer camps?
It's all a matter of finding that indoor space because, summertime, you never know the weather. So you got to have a backup plan of having somewhere to go inside. So And a lot of times during the summertime, we have gyms with the schools, but a lot of times those gyms are doing renovations during the summertime because school is out. So that's the natural time to do it. So a lot of times it's just challenging getting that indoor space. So we're always asking, but it's one of those things you have to have a definite answer. Yes, you can use it because you got kids that are signing up and you're taking kids. So it's not like, oh, I'm sorry, you can't use it now because something's come up. So we try to avoid those situations where we're taking people, but it's not 100% firm commitment that we're going to have the facility. So it's kind of like, got to be careful what you decide to put out there because you're going to have to serve the people that have registered and you have taken into the program.
And I definitely can't wrap up the show without talking about pickleball at least a little bit, since one of my fellow commissioners would probably not let me hear the end of it. So pickleball is another sport that's kind of recently become more popular amongst all ages, and in Huntersville, there's no exception. So do you have any of what's the latest with our pickleball courts, if there's any plans for expansion? You mentioned a little bit at one of the parks.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, we have 8 pickleball courts at Holbrook Park. So we added 2 more last year. So originally there was 6 when we transferred some of those tennis courts to pickleball. So we have a total of 8. We also have 4 pickleball courts that are marked inside the Huntsville Recreation Center that we do a lot of open play there as well. But fire station number 4 will have 4 brand new pickleball courts. So that's really the only thing we have related to pickleball that's any of our master plans.
Okay, and then before we finish for today, I thought it would be fun to do some rapid fire questions. Are you in?
I'm ready.
All right. And since it's just 2 of us here, I'll answer with an answer as well. So I've got, what's your favorite park in Huntersville?
Mine is Veterans Park.
Oh.
My dad's a veteran. My grandfather was a veteran. And I really learned a lot of people when we were designing that park, a lot of great veterans locally. So that, my dad's bricks there with the memorial and all that stuff. So Veterans Park for sure. And it brings the community together. It's a community place where people gather and meet each other.
Yeah, mine would be Holbrook. I've got a lot of fond family memories at Holbrook. If you could add one new feature to a park, what would it be?
Well, I have this vision of a canopy walk in downtown, and
you've
heard about it. So I know that's maybe one of my dreams, but that would be something that's very cool and unique in the core of our downtown to have a raised boardwalk through the trees. So that
I feel like you just gave me a homework assignment. And for me, it's a botanical garden, even if it's just a small one.
See, that could be part of the same project.
And
yes.
I was also thinking as possible, like Holbrook Park extension, Aspen.
See,
So,
all right,
okay,
we're
we're kind
on
of
the
on
same page. All right.
So, if you could describe our park system in 3 words, what would they be?
Something for everyone.
Ooh.
That's 3 words, right? Something for
Yes,
everyone.
that is 3 words. So I've got, let's see, vibrant, active, and fun.
There you go.
What's a hidden gem in our parks that more people should know about?
This is something, the 1.5-mile nature trail at Bradford Park was actually built during COVID when our staff couldn't run programs. So we actually, well, let's build this trail. We always say people want to have more nature. And I just remember walking that trail one day, and I came across a guy with his dog, and he was talking to me. He just went through a battle with cancer. And he says this trail has been a lifesaver for him to get away from everything. Because when you get on that trail, it's completely natural, roots and everything. So for that, I was like, you know what? That's the hidden gem. Because I didn't really think, how important it is to get away from everything. So to me, that's the hidden gem I think a lot of people don't know about.
Oh, I love that. I mean, yeah, the outdoors, for so many things, not just physical fitness, but mental health. And
Yes.
it's so important. So I guess for me, and mine's a kind of slightly odd one. So I recently, in the past year, gotten into like identifying plants and trees through there's this app, the Seek app, that will help you do it. And in the last spring, I went to a 4-day kind of like foraging class in the mountains, and I learned about the sassafras tree.
Okay.
And it's quickly become one of my favorite trees. And I've spotted a few of them as I've been on like a greenway walk, and I know there's like some on the greenway near Rosedale Nature Park. And so for some reason, every time I see that tree, it makes me smile.
I need to learn more about that one then.
It smells really good.
Okay.
If you scrunch the leaves together, it gives almost like that root beer kind of smell. That's where like birch beer kind of thing used to come from.
Awesome.
So, well, I guess that's a wrap here for Thrive Here Live, where community grows, stories unfold, and we thrive together. Until next time, stay connected, stay involved, and keep thriving, Huntersville.
Prioritizing your health is one of the best ways